Systems of Inequalities Applications Problems. Alright, we're going to work these application problems with inequalities pretty much like we work the systems of equations application problems. You're going to establish the variables. Instead of writing a system of equations, you're going to have to write a system of inequalities. And note that at least means greater than or equal to, at most means less than or equal to, more than means greater than, and less than or fewer than means less than. The third step is to solve the system. Now with inequalities, we can't solve them like we do systems. We can only, where there were lots of methods such as elimination, substitution, graphing, matrices, the calculator. We actually have to graph to show the solution set. So with inequalities, since there are many possible solutions, we can only show those solutions by graphing. Alright, let's go ahead and get started on the example problem. Please take out your notes and make sure you're following along with this. Okay, Layla is selling hot dogs and spicy sausages at the fair. She has only 40 buns, so she can sell no more than the total of 40 hot dogs and spicy sausages. Each hot dog sells for $2 and each sausage sells for $2.50. Layla needs at least $90 in sales to meet her goal. We want to write a system of inequalities to model this situation, and then we want to graph the solution set so we can see where those solutions would be, since there's going to be a bunch of them. Now if you'll notice the graph I've only included the first quadrant because you can only sell positive number of hot dogs and a positive number of spicy sausages. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Now the first step is to assign our variables to the problem. Now what we're trying to find out and what we don't know is the number of hot dogs and the number of spicy sausages. So I'm going to let X be the hot dogs, the number of hot dogs, and I'm going to specify that it's the number, and I'm going to let Y be the number of spicy sausages, and I'm just going to write sausages. Okay, so that's our first step. So notice when we graph this, when we put Y here and X here, our hot dogs are going to be on the X-axis and our sausages are going to be on the Y-axis. I'm just going to put an S for sausages. Okay? Alright, now let's start writing our equation, our inequalities. Okay? Since she only has 40 buns, if I add the number of hot dogs and spicy sauces together, which would be X plus Y, the max she could have would be 40. So she could sell less than that, but the most she could sell was 40. So at most it would be 40. So X plus Y is less than or equal to 40. That's our first inequality. Our second inequality is going to have to do with the cost. All right. The cost has to be at least $90. So that's going to be greater than or equal to 90 because she can't bring in less than 90, but she can bring 90 or more. So it's going to be greater than. And now if I add the cost to the hot dogs, so if I take 2 times the number of hot dogs, that would give me my cost in hot dogs. And 2.50 times the number of my spicy sausages, that would give me that. So this is the cost for my hot dogs. That's the cost for my sausages. This is the number of hot dogs, number of sausages. Okay? So that's my system of inequalities. That's my first step. The second thing is I want to look at the graph of this. Alright, so to graph it I have to put each of these in Y equals slope-intercept form. So if I do that, I'll move my X over and I get Y is less than or equal to negative X plus 40. And then on my other one, I'm going to move the 2x over and I get 2.5 y is greater than or equal to negative 2x plus 90, and then I have to divide everything by 2.5. And it's okay, you're going to get fractions, but that's okay. Alright, and I'll get y is greater than or equal to negative, and when I divide this out it becomes 0.8 or 4 over 5 x, and then plus 90 divided by 2.5 is 36. Okay, so now since I've got those solved for y, I'm going to go ahead and graph them. In my first inequality, 40 is my y-intercept, so let's graph that at 40. I'm going to count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40. Actually, let's count by fives. 5, 10, 20, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So there's my point. And now my slope is negative 1. So I could also write it like as negative 5 over 5. So I'll just go down and over, down and over, down and over. And that's what it's going to be. Now since it's got the equals in it, I'm going to draw my line. So let's draw a line. And everybody say hi to Miss Garcia. Now since our solutions are less than that, we're going to shade down here. Okay. Now let's graph the other one. The y-intercept is 36, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 36. So it's going to just be right there. And the slope is negative 4/5, so down 4 over 5. So down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these lines are pretty close to each other. Now it's going to be a solid line also, and it's greater than that, so I'm going to shade up here. Now our solutions are going to be where these cross each other, so I'm going to use my highlighter and do that. They intersect each other right in here. So in that area is where I find my solutions. So I could go over to, if I went over to 5 to 10 here, and 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, somewhere between like 27 and 30 is going to be the number of sausages if I had 10 hot dogs. So you can look in there and pull your data out. Okay? All right. Let's move on here. Get your WIS completed, and we'll see you in class.